Last week, I went to the doctor, and after some tests, I found out that I have PCOS. I was already expecting the diagnosis. I hadn't had my period for months, and I had been breaking out with a lot of pimples on my chin and neck. From what I'd read, those can be signs of a hormonal imbalance, so part of me wasn't really surprised. This was the day I had my blood drawn to check my hormone levels. It was a bit painful because they couldn't find my veins at first, so they ended up trying both of my arms. Luckily, they were able to get the sample in the end. The hospital we went to is free, but they only covered a few of the tests. We had to get the rest done at a private laboratory, which cost me around $55. The ultrasound was free, but the waiting time was really long, which was a little frustrating. But honestly, it was okay because it didn't cost anything. The only thing was that I had to wake up very early in the morning just to get an appointment. It took us about 4 hours to get the ultrasound done because there were so many pregnant women waiting as well. This was the day we went to pick up my test results. Before we left, we had a quick breakfast just to have something in my stomach. I thought it was better to eat something first rather than regret it later because the queue is so unpredictable. Sometimes it's really long and other times there's no queue at all. Waiting for a long time can be frustrating, especially when you're hungry. Thankfully, it didn't feel like winter that day. The weather was actually quite warm, so I didn't need to wear a jacket or any warm clothes. The weather has been so crazy lately. Even though it's winter, it definitely didn't feel like it. We got there around 8:30 a.m. and luckily there wasn't a queue. We were back home by around 9. By the way, the hospital is only a 10-minute walk from our house, and the private laboratory is also close to the hospital, so it was very convenient. As I looked through the results, I felt relieved to see that my insulin levels were normal. However, my testosterone levels were high, and my cholesterol was also a little higher than normal. To be honest, even though I'm a woman, I still don't fully understand how our hormones work. There are so many hormones involved and it can all get really confusing. The next step was to take my test results back to the doctor so he could explain what they meant and tell me what was really going on. The doctor was very kind and luckily he spoke English, which made things much easier. However, he wasn't the same doctor who did my ultrasound. This was the day we had to take my test results to the doctor. I woke up at 5 a.m. to get ready because I wanted to get there early and line up for our appointment. I'm really not a morning person. I wanted to stay in bed a little longer, but I had to get up because this was for my health. We were actually supposed to do this the day before, but unfortunately, there were no appointment slots left. We had already been waiting for 2 hours, hoping we'd still get in, but we ended up going home without seeing the doctor. The girl right before me got the last available slot, so we had to come back the next day instead. After what happened the day before, I was really hoping we'd get an appointment this time. Some people arrive as early as 4 a.m. just to be first in line and have a better chance of getting an appointment. So I was worried we'd miss our chance again. Fast forward, we finally got there, but the line was already pretty long. There were already a lot of people ahead of us. and I started to get really worried. I couldn't stop overthinking, what if we don't make it today? If that happened, it would mean another wasted trip and we'd have to come back all over again. The appointment didn't open until 7 a.m., but even though we arrived at 6, there were already so many people waiting. I didn't get a chance to film because I didn't want to make anyone uncomfortable or upset. It would have been pretty obvious since I was using my phone to record, so I decided it was better not to. By this time, I had already checked in and I was just waiting for my turn. They would simply call my name when it was my time. Of course, there were still 5 women ahead of me, so I had to wait a little longer. I'm really glad my husband was with me through all of this. If you're a man watching this, please go with your girlfriend, fiancé, or wife whenever you can. It may seem like a small thing, but having someone there for support means a lot. It was already 10 o'clock and I was still patiently waiting. By then, I was already bored and getting sleepy. I guess that's pretty normal in a public hospital. You just have to be patient. How about in your country? What's the healthcare system like there? I'm curious. The doctor told me that I have PCOS. He explained that I need to exercise more and make some lifestyle changes. To be honest, ever since I stopped working, I haven't been exercising regularly, so that definitely gave me something to think about. He also recommended that I take birth control pills to help regulate my periods. However, I told him that I didn't want to take them because I had taken birth control pills before and I developed a lump in my breast. When I stopped taking the pills, the lump disappeared. Because of that experience, I really don't want to go through it again. After hearing that, the doctor recommended that I get my breast checked to see if the lump is still there or if there's anything else that needs to be examined. Once he has those results, he'll be able to decide whether it's safe for me to take birth control pills or not. So that's the next step in my journey. I'll make another video to share what happens and also talk about the type of birth control pills I took in the past.